Kawa-approved digital content. Dear learner, you are most welcome to this lesson for ICT clubs. We are focusing on the power of computer software. The info that the computer deals with is called software, because you can't feel it. It flows through the computer's circuits as coded pulses of electricity. The computer can handle two kinds of software data: lists of names, addresses, numbers, words and facts, and programs, lists of instructions that tell the computer what to do. To feed the computer software, data and programs, you can type on the keyboard, or insert ROM chips or disks containing the software, or let the computer receive the software from another computer by running wires between the computers or letting the computers chat with each other by phone. If you feed the computer wrong software, wrong facts or wrong instructions, the computer will print wrong answers. Wrong stuff is called garbage. If you feed the computer some garbage, the computer spits out garbage answers. If a computer prints wrong answers, the computer might not be broken, it might just have been fed wrong data or programs. If you tell a technician to fix it, the technician might reply, "Hey, the computer's fine." Don't blame the computer. It's your fault for feeding it garbage. If you put garbage in, you get garbage out. That's called the principle of garbage in, garbage out, which is abbreviated GIGO, pronounced GIGO. The technician will say, "It's just a case of GIGO." Computer software is the term used for the instructions that have been programmed to allow a computer to process information. There are two main types of software, namely, system software and application software. System software. These are programs that control operation of computer. Two types are operating systems and utility programs. Operating system, OS, sometimes called the platform, coordinates all activities among computer hardware resources. Understanding operating systems, OS. An operating system is the most important software that runs on a computer. It manages the computer's memory, processors, and all of its software and hardware. It also allows you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak the computer's language. Without an operating system, a computer is useless. Currently, all standard operating systems are also graphical user interfaces, GUIs, which means they use graphics to help the user input instructions and open other programs easily. The most common operating systems, OS, are the Windows family of operating systems from Microsoft. You are likely to encounter Windows 2000, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows, the most recent Microsoft OS, as in October 2022, in a computer lab. Other operating systems are described in the next section. Types of operating systems. Three most common operating systems for personal computers are Microsoft Windows, Apple Mac OS X, and Linux. Purpose of an operating system. Regardless of the size and complexity of the computer and the operating system, all operating systems perform the same four basic functions. 1. Control hardware access. The operating system manages the interaction between applications and the hardware. 2. Files and folder management. The operating system creates a file structure on the hard disk drive to allow data to be stored. 3. User interface. The operating system enables the user to interact with software and hardware. The types of user interfaces, namely Graphical User Interface, GUI, dash Command Line Interface, CLI Command Line Interface, CLI, dash This is where the user types commands at a prompt. When you switch on the computer and after running the operating system, a command prompt line appears like the one below. C:\\. To see a list of the files, you need to type dir and press enter on the prompt command line like this. C:\dir. Press enter and a list of files and directories will be displayed. The MS-DOS operating system uses the command line interface. The main disadvantage is that the user must know the commands, their spelling and syntax, and when to use them. Graphical User Interface, GUI, dash The user interacts with menus and icons. Most operating systems, from Windows 95 to Windows 10, etc., include both a GUI and a CLI. Another purpose of OS is application management. The operating system manages all programs to ensure that the correct resources are allocated to the applications. Booting a computer. The process of loading the operating system is known as booting, which is the process of switching on a computer. As electric power is detected, the computer runs a program that fetches the operating system from the hard disk and leaves it running in the computer memory to control all other programs. The user does not participate during this process if the operating system is installed properly. Examples of operating systems: MS-DOS, Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 98 2nd Edition, Windows NT Workstation, Windows NT Server, Unix, Macintosh, Microsoft Windows. Microsoft Company created the operating system Windows in the mid-1980s. They have a version of the operating system that is designed for the home user and a professional version which is intended for businesses. The versions differ in the depth of networking, security, and multimedia support. Windows is a proprietary software, which means that Microsoft has placed restrictions on how people can use or copy the software. Windows comes preloaded on most of the PCs sold today, and can also be purchased separately. Various versions of the software are priced from $79 to $399 for home users. Microsoft has a big share of the operating system market. According to web analyst Net Solutions, over 90% of computer users have one of the Windows operating systems, such as Windows 98, Windows 2000, Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, or the most recent Windows 11. Apple's Mac OS. Mac OS is a line of operating systems created by Apple Incorporated. The Mac operating system is proprietary software that comes preloaded on all new Macintosh computers, or Macs. One of the most recent versions of the operating system is called Mac OS X. Like Microsoft, Apple offers a professional version of the operating system that is intended for use on servers and a version of the operating system that is developed for home users. According to web analyst Net Solutions, Mac OS users account for almost 7.5% of the operating systems market as of March 2008. Although the percentage of users is low, Especially in comparison to Windows users, Mac operating systems have seen a dramatic jump in growth since 2007. Mac computers are sleek and modern-looking, which has started to appeal to many home users. The common version names of Mac OS X are Leopard and Tiger. To learn more about the Macintosh computers, watch the Kawa video about understanding OS, or visit the Apple Incorporated website and explore the Mac computers available, as well as the Support Center for information about the Mac OS. Linux. Linux is an open source or free operating system. Unlike Windows and Mac OS, Linux is not proprietary software, and all the computer code that is part of the operating system can be used and modified by any user. Linux was started in the 1990s when Linus Torvalds, a person interested in creating a free operating system, developed the Linux kernel, which is computer code that is a central part of an operating system. As an open-source software, any individual or company can take the Linux kernel and modify and add to it. Hundreds of companies and individuals have taken the Linux kernel and added additional computer programs to create various versions of the Linux operating system. These versions are known as distributions and are available to download for free. Ubuntu Desktop, a version of Linux. Linux is extremely popular in businesses, especially for servers, because it is adaptable. According to Net Application Statistics, Linux represents under 1% of the market share for home users, but it does offer an alternative to commercial operating systems. Despite being used in many businesses for servers, you do not have need to have special programming skills to download and use Linux. In fact, if you want to try Linux, you don't have to actually install it on your computer. Several versions of the operating system can be downloaded and burned to a CD. Two popular distributions of the software are Ubuntu and Red Hat. Ubuntu is completely free and is available in a version geared specifically for home users. Red Hat is a company that offers technical and training support for businesses that use its version of the operating system, Red Hat Linux.